This is what I got going on. I've had that going on for a couple of days now. Laundry. Great light all. It is I have returned from the dead. Literally. Yes, I am a zodiac teacher. I teach the zodiac wheel. I teach you how your alphabets are from your stars. Yes, the alphabets come from the star constellations. They are the dots that have been connected. It is a dot-dash system. You might know this as Morse code. Yes, the stars are up there speaking in Morse code. They have all been gifted a name. And these stars, they have been connected dot to dot to form what you would call is your 12 zodiac constellations. And these 12 zodiac constellations, they have been given a shape. Okay, and then the shapes have further been broken apart and flipped and flopped and gifted us what we find today as our English alphabet. It has evolved over thousands of years, but still the original domain or the original place where the wonderful idea for the ABCs, it come from the stars, you guys. Yeah, so we are down here technically because the stars are in the waters above, we are down in the below, which is here on the earth, speaking the waters below, okay, because we're technically in the waters still. Yes, and this would be your air, because your air is technically likened into a water. We are likened into a great globe, a snow globe, a dome, if you will, a fish tank. It's a closed environment. It's a wonderful environment for a garden, a terrarium. So yeah, this is why we are also on Terra Earth. And we're down here speaking the law of water that comes from the law above, which is the stars and their grand guidance. So what I do is I teach about the zodiac. I teach how it connects with your alphabets. I teach how it also connects with your number system. There's lots of information I could share. Today, I just want to play like a child with you and write our ABCs. We'll do our capital and our lowercase ABCs together. We will see what we find as we draw in this 10-minute slot. I'm also going to give you some numbers. There's going to be some pausing, but today we're just going to play with our alphabet. Yesterday I did a video to show you about the big G and the little g, and obviously I didn't have enough time because I also ran out of time and space on my washer board. There was more to the G, you guys. There's so much more. I share a lot what I can, and I'm just going to keep making these videos to keep adding to my catalog, okay? Because someday the people that I want to see these videos are going to see these videos, and they're going to be very happy that I shared my stuff. So here, let me turn this around. Let's work and play with our ABCs today. Did you know the ABC song is the same song as the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Do you think that was for a reason? I do, yes. There are no coincidences, you guys. There's no coincidences here. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is divinely placed right where it should be for learning. So let's turn this around and learn and play with our ABCs, and I'll show you my switchcraft. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the G, right? And I showed you how the G was actually an arrow. See that? And I showed you how it connected to the flesh. Now in the big G, this is also your square right here. See, and right away you could see that the G is carrying a 7. The G looks like a C, right? And it carries a 7. So the G is also connected to your 3 and your 7. Okay, just in this. Now we do know G is 7. Okay, now this is also, if this is a square and an arrow, it's pointing to something. Okay, and it must be pointing at, because if we put this on the zodiac, let's see. Here's the square here. it's pointing at this. See, and if we take G and we flip it all over, here's a G here, here's a G here, here's a G here, and here's a G here. See, we will begin to see a rotation with the cornerstone at center. So the G is pointing to the cornerstone right here. He's pointing right here to the cornerstone that's invisible. Because you need to know too, when you do your compass with your square on your zodiac wheel, the dot at the center is always the Holy Spirit. It's also quiet because your protractor or your compass, it doesn't have a pin at the center of where you're measuring. It just has that tip. But anyways, that's what the G is pointing to. Likewise, the lowercase g carries a story. And here it is. The A and the R. Or the R and the A. Once again, so the lowercase g carries Ra hidden in it. Let's do this with our rest of our alphabet. Let me erase this. Okay, so here's the alphabet right here. Let me go in and put some numbers with this. Okay, so here when I wrote them, I just did A is 1, and I did 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Notice your 33 right here, and your 44, Abraham, just with your D. See, and then your BB has your 22 go, and your alpha is your 11 right off the bat. See that? And then your H carries your 70, your 88 windows. I carries your Jupiter. Okay, and then here's your energy power right here, 77. I did this in my last video. The FF is connected to the 6, and the EE for the 5 and the 5. Here's your 101 right here for your laugh out loud. And your 1010. Here's your 1111. Now notice how WW kind of looks backwards like pig pig. 2222. Here's the V's right there. So just when I did this, there was something to be seen. Also, when you do baby B, look at how baby B becomes like a reversed A. Same thing with the little d, how it carries a little A. See that when I erase the stick? Same thing with the P. See how it kind of looks like a little A now, except it's backwards. See? Same thing with Q. They all carry a little A. The V can be brought together to look like a W. It can also be taken apart. But notice it's not double V, it's double U. And double U is 21 and 21, which would be 42 over here. Yeah. Okay, and then you can, I've shown you before with the R, how the R is your ribbit rabbit or your Playboy bunny. We can see here that I is a flip script of H. H flips and becomes the I, just like the N flips to become the Z. Okay, and there's that. I've shown you before about your K, how your K's can flip like this, and then you have your hex right there. This is where your ooh comes from. Ooh. And your ooh is 10, 20, 30. Yeah. Notice how lowercase l has been changed. Also, uppercase I has been changed. Now they're just a line. So if they're just a line, I and L, they can be interchangeable. So Al and AI, yeah, they interchange with one another. This is just some of the stuff I can do. I can make some more videos. We can do more.